You hear me well? Okay. Route 53. So what is Route 53? So if someone asks you what is Route 53, what is the thing that you can say? Can you say it's a DNS service in AWS? Hmm? Can we say that it's a DNS service in AWS, guys? Yes or no? You with me? Okay. It's a DNS service in AWS. And why we call it as 53 here? Because DNS port number is 53. Correct? That's the reason why we call it as Route 53. What is DNS? If you remember the olden days, what is DNS? Can you say it keep track of all host names and IP addresses? Right? And also it will convert host name to IP and IP to host name. Yes. Yes. Yeah. One second. So, and also, do you remember, guys, in our starting days, I discussed about the DNS topic. Remember? So I put the laptop. I don't remember whose name I took it, but you see that. So we have the laptop, and you open the browser from the laptop. So browser require two things. What are those? So browser require two things. What are those? So browser requires host name and IP address, correct? Browser require host name and IP address. Yes. So browser will talk to whom first to get the IP address? Local DNS. Super. It I still remember. So it will go to the local DNS. From the local DNS, the request will go to root name server, correct? Root name server. And from there, the request will go to top level domain, correct? Top level domain. So guys, do we need to worry about all these things here for on the configuration part? No need to worry. Yes, ISP will take care. Okay, from there, the request will go to name server. From the name server, the request will go to SOA, correct? Yes. SOA. So guys, these things we should take care, right? This will be handled in the Route 53. This will be handled in the Route 53, guys. Okay. So now we know what is name server. Remember, which will identify the domain name, correct? So first of all, this Route 53 is global, guys. So Route 53 is global. Route 53 is global. So when we talk, so I told that Route 53 is DNS service. So guys, when we talk about DNS is all about records only, no? We'll create a record of mappings, correct? Do you all agree with me? DNS is all about records, correct? DNS is all about records. We go and create a record from nasty name to normal, nice name and all, right? So in Route 53, if you go to Route 53, you will be starting the Route 53 by creating something called hosted zone. Everyone write down hosted zone. What is the Chite? Everyone will go to Route 53 and they'll create something called hosted zone. What is hosted zone? Guys, where do you create the records? The records will be inside this hosted zone. This is called container of records. Container of records. By the way, what do we do with the Route 53 first of all? So let me give you a quick glance on Route 53 features. Guys, generally we go and purchase the domain, no? So where do you go and purchase the domain? So we go and purchase the domain from that GoDaddy, Kamami. There's so many that right here. You no need to go to GoDaddy or some other daddies. Okay, so you can do the domain registration here itself in Route 53. You can do the domain registration here itself. Route 53 will act as a registrar, so you can add the domain. You can even purchase the domain here itself, and you can do DNS routings. Yeah, Route 53 is all about routing only. So, and you can do the health checks. We'll talk about it, health checks. And fourth thing is, very importantly, we have something called routing policies. So, this in Route 53, it's all about DNS is all about records. In Route 53, we need to go and create a hosted zone. Guys, the name of the hosted zone should be the same name as your domain name. Let's say, for example, my domain is boom.com. Okay. So I need to go and purchase that boom.com in Route 53 first of all. Yes or no? Chitti. Chitti. Bulbul Chitti. Chitti, you're with me, Chitti. Silence, Chitti. What is this, Chitti? You guys are interactive, no, Chitti? Listening carefully, yeah. Okay. So in Route 53, we'll go and purchase the domain. After purchasing the domain, we need to create this hosted zone. Hosted zone name should be the same as the domain name. So what would be the hosted zone name? Hosted zone name here for me? Boom.com. Correct? So hosted zone meaning the domain name. Domain name. Here, for example, boom.com. That is the hosted zone that I should create. So whenever you create, these hosted zones are of two types, right? Hosted zone. In Route 53, we create a hosted zone. What is a hosted zone that we create here? Boom.com. So two types of hosted zone. One is public hosted zone and another one is private hosted zone. Public and private. Public hosted zone and private hosted zone. Here we call it as public hosted zone. And here we call it as private hosted zone. So what is public hosted zone, guys? So if you're deploying or if you're giving the websites or application to everyone, so it should be hosted in the internet, correct? One second. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So there are two types of hosted zones, public hosted zone and private hosted zone. So guys, if you want to have your website to be accessed throughout the internet, then go with the public hosted zone. And if you want to have your website to be accessed within the VPC internally, then you go with the private hosted zone. So mostly whatever the applications, whatever the websites that you want to put it, that would be mostly on the public hosted zone only, correct? Okay. So there are two types of hosted zones. I'm writing it here. So here, public hosted zone. Whenever you create any public hosted zone, whenever you create any hosted zone, the two records will be created automatically. Those are NS record and SOA record. Guys, whenever, guys, whenever you create a hosted zone, two records will be automatically get created. What are those? Do you remember what is NS record? Name server. NS meaning name server, guys. Do you remember what is name server? I told you like there will be a big .com top level domain. Inside that, how do you identify the request which is related to the google.com or to the particular request? The name server is a guy who will be raising the hand and saying, right, hey, I'm here, come to me, correct? That is to identify that request, right? Which to go to the correct domain, correct? So those kind of guys, here I'm saying raising the hand. Raising the hand will that will really happen? It will not happen like that, right? So basically there will be a pool of servers. There will be a pool of servers which will take all those requests, right? That is called NS record. So AWS will give you, I don't remember, maybe four servers, 4 or 5 servers. AWS will give, will provide, will have. We no need to do anything, guys. So AWS will take care. So NS record will have 4 to 5 servers, where the job of the servers will be getting the request from the internet to your actual website or application. That is the job of NS record. So SOA, you know, right? This is an admin for hosted zone. Like it's a wife for the house. Okay. Understood? So there, what are the two records that are automatically created and handled by AWS? NS and SOA records are automatically created and handled by AWS. Okay, got it? So what does the hosted zone contains? What does the hosted zone contains? Records. Fantastic. Very good. So hosted zone contain records. Hosted zone contain records. Hosted zone contains record. What is that? How does the record look like? Let's say, for example, boom.com. Okay. Should be routed to our ELB, no? Nasty URL. That's how the record will be created, right? So that kind of records will be there. And once it hit the record, once you hit boom.com, the request will go to where? To the load balancer, correct? And from there, we have EC2 instances. Correct, guys? I'm giving the flow, how the request is going. This is ELB, so EC2, EC2. So whenever you hit any your application, first it will go to Route 53. After that, it will go to hosted zone. After the hosted zone, it goes to records, right? After that, it goes to ELB, and from ELB, it goes to EC2 instances. Make sense? That's everyone understood the flow clearly. So if you get any question related to NS and SOA are called NS and SOA are called default records are called default records. Guys, if you delete this NS and SY record, your website will work. You cannot. By the way, you cannot delete NS and SY records. You cannot delete NS and SY records. Got it? Got it, guys? Everyone understood till here? Okay. So now you might be having like, okay, so sir, domain, basically it is good to purchase in Route 53 if you have application, if you have infrastructure in, AWS, correct? Guys, guys, can you give me 5 minutes? I'll just finish up something, just reply to someone. Just 5 minutes. Please don't mind. I don't want to break it, so that's the reason why I'm stopping my screen share. Just give me 5 minutes, please. Okay. Thank you for waiting. There might be just 1 minute break, 1 minute gap, 1 minute might be needed later. Okay. So thank you for understanding. Okay. Guys, here, okay. You're with me? Can you see my screen? Thank you. So generally, if you have your infrastructure or application or website in AWS, is it recommended to purchase the domain in Route 53 or some other daddy or mummy? In AWS, in Route 53 itself, correct? Yes. So there might be a cases where they will say that, so now my domain is in GoDaddy, my application is in AWS. How do we do that? So guys, remember, there is no harm. You can purchase domain. You can purchase the domain in Route 53. You can purchase the domain in Route 53 as well as GoDaddy. GoDaddy or any mummy. Okay. So, but if you purchase in Route 53, you have so many advantages, correct? Because the advantage is you no need to create hosted zone. It will create automatically. It will create automatically with NS and SY records. Whereas if you go into the if you purchase the domain in GoDaddy, will it create hosted zone here? No. Here you need to manually create hosted zone in Route 53. If you create manually also, it will automatically create NS and SY records. So guys, here, see here. If you purchase the domain in Route 53, automatically hosted zone will be created and automatically NS records, SY records will be created. That is our default records. Whenever hosted zone is created, yeah, that can be automatically or manually, NS and SY records will be created. That's for sure. But creating the hosted zone, if you purchase the domain in Route 53, hosted zone will be created automatically. But if you purchase somewhere in GoDaddy, if you purchase the domain somewhere in GoDaddy, will it create the hosted zone in our Route 53? No. So let's say this is our GoDaddy. This is GoDaddy. In GoDaddy, you have purchased this boom.com. Right? Boom.com. So whenever you hit boom.com, the request will go to where? First, the request will come to GoDaddy only, right? Yes or no? Guys, first the request will go to the GoDaddy. So how do we redirect the request to our Route 53? Because our infrastructure is there in AWS. So guys, what you need to do is you have the NS records, no? That 4 or 5 servers, pool of servers. You update Route 53 NS records here in GoDaddy. If you update Route 53, if you update AWS Route 53 NS records in GoDaddy, the request will come hit boom.com first in GoDaddy. As it says the NS records are pointing to Route 53 AWS, the request will redirect to the AWS here. Request redirects to AWS. The only thing what you have to do is you need to put records. Put records in GoDaddy. Guys, understood? If at all you have any domain in other than Route 53, you just need to update NS records in that GoDaddy or some other website in order to transfer or in order to redirect the request to the AWS. Is this clear how it should be designed? City? Understood? Is it clear till here, everyone? The entire architecture, how it works and all? Super. So now let's talk about records. There are many records available, right? Records. Route 53 records. Route 53 records. Okay. So guys, there are many records available in DNS. DNS is all about records only. There are few records. Let's say we call it as a record. We call it as this record. If you call it as R record and this one you call R record. Huh? Okay. This CNAME record, alias record. You have so many records. I'm just giving examples. Let's say you have MX record. Right? You don't need to go with all the records. Okay. So what are these records? Let me explain you in clear and easiest way. Yeah, PTR record, you will have so many things. So URL to IPv4, for example. I'll explain it, don't worry. URL to IPv6. Then it's URL to URL. You'll understand what are all these. URL to any resource. Guys, MX records is related to emails, exchange records and all. Okay, so let's take record. You have record. Let's talk about. So guys, now I'll take an example. If I use http:// here varun.com, I'll use varun.com. Whenever I hit varun.com, you tell me the request will go to whom first? The request will go to Route 53, correct? The request will go to Route 53. The request will go to Route 53. And then the request will go to? Guys, and then the request will go to hosted zone, correct? What is the hosted zone name here? Varun.com, correct? It should be varun.com. What does the hosted zone contains? Records. NS and SOA, just leave it because that is default record. We don't do anything. We need to create our own record, right? If someone is hitting varun.com, it should be going to where? Guys, can I point to EC2 instance IP address also? Yes, EC2 instance IP. If you are pointing to the EC2 instance IP, what is this here? Varun.com is the URL here, which is pointing to IPv4. So if you're pointing to any IP address, then you need to go with the A record. You need to go with the A record. And sorry. Now let's talk about CNAME record. Let's talk about CNAME record. CNAME record, this time, instead of you sending it to the IP address, you send it, can you route it to TLB DNS URL? Guys, and that what will become? That will become URL to URL only. So if you have kind of things, then you need to go with the which record? It is CNAME record. Guys, R record, this will not use because that is IPv6. That's the reason why I'm not touching it. Because if you have IPv6, then go with this record. Otherwise, no. Okay. So next one here is alias record. What is this alias record? Generally, what is the meaning of alias? Another name, correct? So if you go with the alias, either you can go with EC2 instance IP or you can go with the URL, correct? Or you can go with the ELB DNS URL. So that meaning here URL to any resource, correct? So based on the requirement, you need to choose the records, guys. But I'm telling you, the most common record that people will be using in the industry is alias record. Because why? Guys, if you want to point it to EC2 instance IP address, then go with the A record. So if you want to point it, because this alias records points to any resource, right? Either you can point it to the EC2 instance IP address or to the TNS URL. And that too, why don't people go with the CNAME records? Because CNAME records are chargeable, aliases are free. That is a big reason. CNAME records are chargeable, whereas alias records are free. Now you tell me which records is most suggestible? Alias records. And also another problem with the CNAME is for naked domains. Naked domain meaning what? Here varun.com is a naked domain. http://varun.com. Guys, we call it as varun.com is naked domain. What is this called? admin.varun.com or hello.varun.com or images.varun.com. These are all we call it as subdomains, correct? This is called subdomains, and this varun.com is called main domain, correct? You can call it as main domain. You can call it as naked domain. You can call it as zone apex record also you can call. Right? Guys, yes or no? For naked domain, meaning varun.com, you cannot use CNAME. Instead, use alias. For naked domains, CNAMEs will not work. That's a problem. So instead of that, use alias. But remember, guys, for all subdomains, you can use CNAME, no issues. Only for the naked domain, you cannot use it. But remember, guys, always choose alias over CNAME. If you get any certification question and if you get anything related to which one you want to choose, always go with alias over CNAME, guys. Make sense? Alias in real time too? Yes, of course. We'll be doing it now. Guys, you got to understand this. Chiti, do you understand? Any questions still here, everyone? These are NS record. Which one? NS records, you no need to worry about it. NS records are default records. We don't touch it. These are not NS record. These are all A record. Different records are there, no? This is called A record. This is called CNAME record. This is called alias record. Like that, we have NS record. But we don't talk about NS record because those are default records. Sir, how to update records in GoDaddy? We don't talk about GoDaddy, but in GoDaddy, if you go to settings, there will be something called NS name servers. If you go to settings, go to name server, there you need to update our Route 53 NS records there. But when you go into practical, we'll see those NS records. Correct, Prakash. Prakash, correct for you also. Is this clear till here? Should I move to the next thing? Should I move to the next thing, guys? Output is same, Chandra. Okay, guys. Okay. So the next important thing here is a routing policies. What is that? Routing policies. So there are different types of routing policies, guys. So let me take an example. Let's say http://chandru.com. So we have this URL now. Okay. So someone hit chandru.com, the request will go to Route 53. Correct? The request will go to Route 53. Okay. And then it will go to the hosted zone. Yes or no? It will go to the hosted zone. And hosted zone contains what? Records. What is the record that it should contain? It contains chandru.com should be pointing it to ELB DNS name. Correct? Makes sense? That's yes or no? Yes. So now see here. Whenever someone hit chandru.com, I have created a record. Simply it is routing. Whenever you hit chandru.com, simply it is routing to the ELB DNS name. So that means we should have our ELB setup ready now. We should have ELB setup here ready. Yes. So let's say I call it as this is my setup is in Mumbai. It look it sounds awkward, right? So my setup is not in Mumbai. So my infrastructure is in Mumbai. Okay. Miscalculation. Sometime happens, huh? Okay. Okay. So here we have ELB and the EC2 here. So here ELB, EC2. So we have this environment, we have this setup, correct? Right? So in Mumbai, we have this. So whenever someone hits chandru.com, obviously the request will go and hit the load balancer. Correct? Agree? Agree? Yes or no? Okay. So now tell me, if the EC2 instances are down, load balancer will easily catch it. Load balancer can easily catch it. How does it catch it? Because we have a health checks here, correct? Super. We have health checks. But what if all this entire site is down? What happens if this entire site is down? My Chandru.com is also down. Do we have an health checks on Chandru.com? No. So we are simply routing it to the load balancer. Guys, this is called simple routing policy. What is this called? Simple routing policy. Are there any health checks for the simple routing policy? No health checks. That is simple routing policy. So Chandru.com, you created a record which is pointing to the load balancer bus. That's it. That is called simple routing policy. If this site is down, your Chandru.com will work? It will not work. But if you want to make it work, we need to have a concept of failover, correct, guys? We need to have the concept of failover. So everyone understood simple routing policy? Simple routing policy meaning without any health checks, you are simply routing it to the load balancer, your application. That's it. And now let me talk about another routing policy, which is called failover routing policy. Failover routing policy. What is this failover routing policy? That for failover routing policy, how many records you should create? 2 records, correct? So, okay, the first one I'm just that is called simple routing. I'm just closing that. Okay. Now let's talk about failover routing policy. So failover routing policy meaning now, okay, Chandru.com is pointing to ELB DNS name, correct? Someone hits Chandru.com, it is going and hitting the ELB DNS name. To by default, it is going to which site? Which region? Mumbai region, correct? Can I call this as primary record, guys? Which if someone by default, someone is accessing Chandru.com, it should go and hit my primary record, that meaning TLB. So guys, can I also do parallel setup here? This can be in the same Mumbai region also, or this can be in another region also, let's say Ireland. We do the same setup. Can I call this as primary setup? Or see, not primary site, and this one call it as secondary site or secondary. Okay, secondary site. We call like this. Okay, so someone by default, if someone hitting Chandru.com, by default, it will go and hit our primary site called Mumbai. So just in case if this goes down, Route 53 will understand Chandru.com, okay, this ELB is not working, so it will send it to the second one. For that second one, we need to have one more record created. Chandru.com should be pointing it to ELB DNS name, and this one is which region? This is called secondary record, correct? This is secondary record, which is in which region, guys? Ireland region, correct? If the first record is down, it will go to the second record. It will go to the second record. Guys, understood? You're getting it how I'm designing it, guys. So this is called, okay, how does Route 53 know whether the primary site is down or not? Because Route 53, see, the failover routing policy has health checks. Do you understand simple routing policy, failover routing policy? So do you have any downtime here? Just in case if Mumbai site goes down, the same application is available in Ireland. So you will not have even the difference will not be there. If primary site gone, your site will be always up and running because you have the same site here. Or guys, can you also do this? Can you set up maintenance page? Yes. It's up to you. You want secondary site with the same application, you can do it. Or else you can do can you create a maintenance page and put it in S3? Guys, S3 bucket. We can do static website hosting, no? So put one small maintenance.html page and enable static website hosting. Do this. And here, instead of secondary record, we point now this to sandru.com to secondary one. Here, sandru.com should be pointing to S3 endpoint. Guys, yes, it's up to you how we design it. So the secondary record can be Ireland 1 or secondary record can be your S3 point. If it is S3, obviously the request will go to the maintenance page will be appeared. So however you want, you can design it. Yes. If your primary site is down, automatically maintenance page will be appeared. Everyone understood simple routing policy and failover routing policy? How to design it, how to architect it? These are all real-time things, guys. Is this clear on this part? Super. Next interesting thing here is geolocation routing policy. Geolocation routing policy. What is geolocation routing policy? We'll see. Let's take this is do you think I'm playing? Okay. Okay. Now we have a website called somebody is saying http:// who is here? Khan.com. Okay. So my application is here. Guys. So this is Mumbai region. This is Mumbai. And this one, Ireland. This one, Canada. This is US. This is our kidney. This is okay. Okay. Now tell me, those who are in India, they're accessing the application, they'll have a low latency or high latency. Obviously, they have a low latency. And how about others? All these people? Obviously, all these people has high latency. High latency, high latency, high latency. So how do you resolve this issue? How do you resolve this issue? Obviously, very good, Syed. Right? You need to go with the edge locations, CloudFront concept, right? We know that. So now CloudFront concept is, so you have origin application here, but this time my application, this is in English, and each and every region we should have a different languages application. Is that possible to do with edge locations? No. So in that case, what you should do? You should keep the application in each and every region, correct? You should deploy application in each and every region individually. So in this will go with Irish. So this will go with Japanese. Sydney is English. US is English. or based on the region. So we'll go and deploy it. So now, how does the customer access? Customer, guys, Khan.com is the common, the user. The user will be using it, Khan.com, correct? http://khan.com. The website URL should change for throughout the world? No. So whenever he hit Khan.com, for Japanese guys, he need to get, for Tokyo guys, he need to get into in Japanese language. Whenever any user from Ireland hit Khan.com, they should get it from Irish language. Correct? But the URL should same. How does the Route 53 know which to which load balancer or which IP address, EC2 instance IP address that request should send? That is through geolocation routing policy. Tell me guys here, how many records I need to create based on this requirement? How many records I should create? Excellent. 6 records you need to create. So first record, you need to go with Mumbai ELB or IP address. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One is Mumbai, one is Tokyo, one is Ireland, US, Sydney, and Canada. Okay. So now, if someone is hitting Khan.com from Tokyo, Route 53 will automatically identify, because you're talking about geolocation. So based on the user location, Route 53 will identify, oh, this request is coming from Tokyo. For that reason, I need to send the request to Tokyo record. Yeah. If the request is coming from Ireland, Route 53 will automatically understand, oh, the request is coming from Ireland, then I need to send it to it. Because Khan.com Ireland load balance or IP address, we are creating a record with this. So Route 53 will redirect. Route 53 will identify the user's or request location automatically and redirect to that particular record. Yes, it will redirect to the particular record. Correct. So you can. The language change automatic, meaning here we have application with Japanese language only, no? Correct? Spandana? Yes. Understood? So this is related to based on the user's location, the request will be redirected, routed. Yes. Is this clear geolocation routing policy? Same way, we have latency-based routing policy. Latency-based routing policy. Latency-based routing policy meaning same concept. So many X. It's Mumbai, Ireland, Canada, US, Sydney, and Tokyo. Okay, so we have the application is in all regions. Application. Okay, so now when I try to access it, it is here, it is taking Ireland, it is taking, let's say 1 minute. This is taking here 2 minutes. It's taking Mumbai 50 seconds. US is taking 40 seconds. And Sydney is taking 20 seconds. And Tokyo is taking 10 seconds. Okay. So now the user is here in US. Okay. And he is accessing http:// who is here? Srikanth.com. Guys, here, whenever he's accessing Srikanth.com from US, can you tell me from where he will get response? If he's using latency-based routing policy. Guys, it doesn't matter which region it is, it will just go and check whichever is based on this. Now it will get connected to Tokyo because it has a 10 seconds latency. Correct? Out of the 6 regions, Route 53 will identify, okay, the record is latency based. So out of all the 6 records, whichever is the low latency, that will get connected to that. But in fact, in ground real, US will be having the low latency because he's accessing from US. But why I put it Tokyo? Because it doesn't matter which region it is, only the latency matters here. Correct? Did you understood? Request get connected based on latency, doesn't matter about the regions. Clear? That's the power of Route 53. Route 53 has that intelligence to collect the latency time of each and every region for that application. That's thing. And you have very chumma things which we don't use it much. That is called multi-value routing policy. Guys, it is same as this one, same as simple routing policy. Simple routing, but this multi-value has health check. Right? And also, there is one more thing. Let's say I have an application. I have the EC2 instances. Okay. EC2, and we have application here. Application. Okay, now we have the clients. So guys, if you have a requirement that only percentage of the traffic should go to this, right? Or only percentage of traffic to go to this. If you have that kind of requirement, yes, there is a policy called, let's say, for example, here, 20% of the traffic should go here, 50% of the traffic should go here, and rest 30% of the traffic should go here. If you want to distribute the traffic like this, there is a policy called weighted routing policy. So just in case, if you have it based on the requirement, if you have this kind of requirement, you can use this weighted routing policy, otherwise no. So mostly the simple routing policy, failover routing policy, geo and latency, these are most commonly used policies in the projects basically. Does everyone understood? Different types of policies and all. Clear? Understood on Route 53? Easy, even though it looks bigger, but injected. Sir, in case of latency, Tokyo application in Japan, the language for you. So you need to mix it up both. Prakash, you need to configure both. It can be a combinations. All clear? Super. So for my website to work, I need a domain, a record created in hosted zone, at least important. Yes, exactly, Ramana. Correct. So at least a simple routing policy is default one. Okay. Any other questions? How to know naked domain? Nothing. So naked domain is nothing but directly, Rajeshwari.com is naked domain. That's it. Any other questions? So don't leave. So geo proximity is recently came up. So it is mostly like if you want to route traffic based on the location of your resources and shift the traffic from one location to the other resources in another location, then you will be using this geo proximity. Someone asked that. Okay. All right. So, guys, normal talk now. By the way, yeah, I'll ask. I remember. I'm asking that you guys now. So, how was the course? How is the course? So, guys, as I said, a trainer should have a lots of guts to ask this question at end of the course. 90% of trainers will skip this. But I'm asking you, how is the course? Excellent. Super. Very happy. You're lucky to have AWS trainer. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's really awesome to get this kind of feedbacks to everyone. So one thing, do you remember those days, some 50 days back, that you were searching for a right trainer here and there, going here and there? You are in Dynamo, in that situation where to learn, what to learn, how to learn, correct? You had that kind of situations, right? So people like you are also, so many students, so many people, right? Are also, they were also on the same situation. They are also in the same situation that you were before 50 days back, right? So should we help them? So I usually, after this end of the course, I usually ask only one thing from the students. So guys, I have gave so much of knowledge to you, but what I want from you is just feedback. You remember in the starting days of this course, I have shown you uh, this feedback, Facebook feedback thing. This was the same thing that the previous students like you has wrote their wonderful affection. You might have thought, Arey bhai, what is this? There people are writing too much. But does it make sense now? Why they are writing it? Guys. So my humble request for you is, would you go ahead and then write the feedback here so that it will help the other people also. Indirectly, you are helping the other guys also to be in with the right trainer and to learn something really good. Everyone, everyone, reply. Will you? Okay, so you can consider this as a Guru Dakshan for me, right? So this will really help others to be in the right place, in right hands. So that is, no, Atuk, I'm not that. I'm just your friend. Yeah, come on. Yeah. So, so that is the link. So you can just join this group, right? And also, please post your feedbacks here. Okay. Sir, when is your next session? I have many students want to join. Yes, after this 9 a.m., maybe another 9 a.m. will start soon. Maybe second week in 1 or 2 weeks. They can stay tuned here in this page. Yeah. Will you do it for me? Everyone? Because I also have this. So people says that, sir, we will do it, but they don't, due to some they might be busy or they don't know how to write. Doesn't matter, guys. It's just share your feelings there. Okay. Take the screenshots. No, course is not done. We still have Route 53 practicals and VPC is very important thing that we will be doing it. Next one. And also, it would be of kind of really help if you post these feedbacks in hey, thank you, sir. I will keep my WhatsApp status also. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So it will be really good if you post this kind of feedbacks in public forums like Quora or like in Telegram also. Do you know that in Telegram I have a group, AWS by Riaz? So you can join there in Telegram. Go to Telegram and there is something called just search for AWS by Riaz and you see there, and just put your nice feedbacks there so that there are thousands of people, hundreds of people there. They know. And first put your feedbacks in this Facebook, and then you can copy the same thing to some public forums. My only intention is, guys, we'll get the people, but the only thing is we'll do something to the people, other guys. You are lucky you are with me. You learned, and let's share the same thing to others as well. Take the screenshot. People are asking for my number. No. So just imagine if I share my number, I need I need to hire a separate guy to only pick the phone. Yeah. Ayyo. Yeah. I'm super happy that if I so that is a takeaway from you. You have a everyday takeaway that you are learning, and then you have so much of things, but the takeaway for me is your words like this. These your words, these keep me healthy. Take the screenshot. Why, Varun? Why you need? After 3-4 days, we miss your voice, sir. Yeah. We'll drag it till Monday, as I said. So tomorrow we'll do the Route 50 practicals. Friday we'll start VPC. Saturday also VPC. If we try to finish it on Saturday, fine. Otherwise, we'll move to Monday. And the final one. Your first words with clear throat. Hey everyone, good morning. Ayo, thank you very much, guys, for your affection. Pleased to see all this. I'm fortunate. Did you take the screenshots? Super. Thank you, Srikant. So maybe you can just try to motivate others also in your WhatsApp group to write this and then in the Facebook or in Quora or somewhere you like, just try to spread it. That will really help for us. Thank you, Ali. Thank you. Great. Can you give the final CC for today? Super. So please do not forget to post the feedbacks. I'm very interested. I'm very eager to read all those things. I'll be reading it. Okay. So please do it by today or now if you still have time. Thank you, guys. That is all for today. And I'll see you tomorrow with the Route 53 practicals. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.